Hi, this is Dennis with Second Chance Tackle. Today we've got an interesting one. It's a case of an imposter. And we're going to go into that and we're going to show you about this, the imposter. We'll let you guess who it is. We even got it down to the point where both of the knobs are broken on the two reels. But before I start, I want to thank all of our first responders, essential personnel, healthcare workers, government employees, everybody who's working to keep us safe as we enter in the second stage or maybe even the third stage of this pandemic now, where it's got a coming back with a vengeance. And anybody who's putting their lives at risk to help us stay safe and make sure that we have what we need to continue to survive, it's really appreciated, and I want to take the time and the effort and the energy to thank you all for what you do. So let's get back to these imposters then. So here is a Penn Monofil reel, and here's a Penn Monofil reel wannabe. And interestingly enough, this reel was made by the Lawrence Manufacturing Company, or it's called the Lawrence Reel. It was actually made by the New York Toy Company. It was made in Lawrence, Massachusetts, and that's why it took the name. And the New York Toy and Game Company was based in New York City. It had an address down in the Wall Street area, and those are the administrative offices. And I can't find much about them other than they kind of did the knockoffs. Their first knockoff was actually a Bronson reel, and in this case they're knocking off a Penn reel. And you can tell the difference. There's a cross hatching on the side. But other than that, I mean, let's look at this. You've got the reel seats look very similar. The side plates look similar. The bearings look similar. Come over to this side. Even the coloration on them looks similar. The nuts for the handle screw are all the same. The star adjuster. And the only thing you have to look at, the parts are not interchangeable. If you start to look, you would notice there's a difference in spacing on the crossbars, and there's a difference inside the bridge. But we're going to take this apart. I'm going to show you how it comes apart if you happen to have a Lawrence. And I'm going to take the other one apart. I'll just show you how close to identical it is. And let's start with that screw. It's the same handle screw for the Penn wrench as it is for this. I'm going to put the Lawrence pieces and parts in here. Just going to see if I can't back that handle off. The handle's bent, which doesn't help. So I don't know what the story was with either one of these reels, but both of them apparently have lost their handle knob. And even if you look at the handle knobs by themselves, if you go to take these off, they're very, very similar in nature. From the back, if you look at that, you'd swear that whoever was making the handle for Penn was making it for Lawrence as well. Straight up, straight out in design, just a little bit of a difference with the screw itself. I'll put my Penn ones over here. I'm going to take apart the Penn reel first. And the Penn reel has the classic Penn reel design inside. It has the jack and the yoke and the bridge plate and eccentric spring and the like. But I'm going to take that apart so that you can see it. And then we'll go over to the Lawrence reel where you can see it as well. So if the imitation is the sincerest form of flattery, then this is certainly a flattering reel in the Lawrence. And one of the interesting things about it, I guess, is they probably changed it just enough to the point where it didn't infringe on patents, or they just plain didn't care about infringing on patents, but they changed it enough in the design of what it was that they did to make it different, like the cross hatching on the side plates. So here's your Penn design, and now we'll go ahead and take off the side plate on the Lawrence, and we'll show you that it's essentially the same. And I'm going to put the pieces from the Lawrence into my parts tray, and you'll also notice that I have a protective glove on my hand, and that's there because of the I'm never sure what I'm going to find when I open up reels. Now that Penn reel that I just opened up there is very, very clean, and for a reel that is probably from the 1960s, I got to check specifically on the Monofil line. Monofil was introduced for, well, just what it sounds like, monofilament, as opposed to the linen lines. It had the metal spool that enabled it to withstand some of the stress on the spool, and it was engineered so that monofilament did not break the more traditional plastic spools of the time. All right, here's your Lawrence reel. What do you think? Is that a knockoff or is that a knockoff? Again, the pieces are not interchangeable. There is a difference in the bridge posts here. If you look at the widths, the ones up top here go further out than these. And I guess they probably changed it just enough that if there was an issue with patent infringement, that they could say, well, of course it's different. But internally, I'm going to take this off just to show you the internals of it. I won't take the pen off yet. I want to get this bridge plate out for the Lawrence first. But if you know how to service a Penn reel, then you're certainly going to know how to service a Lawrence reel. Okay, the 4 bridge screws are loosened. I always cut my hand when I'm working on the Penn reels or Penn prototype reels like this one, because there's a spring in there for the anti-reverse and I don't want it to shoot. So we're going to take that out. I'm going to turn this around for you. Here's our bridge plate. There's our flat spring, our dog, and here's our yoke. Looks like somebody serviced this one relatively recent. There's some grease in there. I think the only drawback to this probably would be that it doesn't have the handle knob on it. Now, we should be able to get that off. Sometimes my hands just can't grip it. There we go. Okay. So here it is. You have a bridge, basic main gear with the drag stack, a jack, a yoke. Here's your spring for the anti-reverse dog. Your anti-reverse dog, your 2 yoke springs, and your pinion gear. So let's go over here then and take off the side plate for the monospool reel. I do the same thing. I'm going to grab the reel and side plate with the gear in it and cup my hand. Now this one has seen a lot of salt because I'm noticing all of the screws that I'm taking out of this are encrusted in it. So this has definitely been used in the ocean. Once I've loosened all of them, I'm going to push that through just like I did with the Lawrence. Lift up, and look what we got. We have a flat screw, the dog. Now materials wise, it appears that that this one's got the stainless gear in it, or a chromed gear, where this one's got a brass gear. There is a difference in the metaling in the gear, but put those side by side. Put your dog springs side by side. Put your yoke, and we'll come over here. Here's our gear. Get the jack out of there. Yoke. Springs. Put your yoke side by side. You'll notice that there's just a little bit of a difference here in that this shoulder is squared on the jack. Put the yokes together. They're just a little more narrow because, as I mentioned, that one spacing on the Lawrence is a little bit wider. Put your 2 gears together for your pinion gears. They're almost identical. And so on and so forth. So the whole point of this one is that beware of knockoffs. This is not a Penn reel, although it looks very much like one, even on the back side of this. Even on the inside, a little bit of a difference in the click mechanisms. Right, that one's much more sturdy on the Penn than it is on the Lawrence. But a quick glance at that says, geez, I got a Penn monospool here. Well, no, you don't. You have a Lawrence. So that's the point of showing this. I'm going to go clean both of these up. I got to go find some replacement handles. The Penn handle does not fit the Lawrence's, if I remember. I'm not quite sure. If it does, I'm going to go put a Penn handle on it, and I'll have two very functional reels by the time I'm done. So I hope you've enjoyed it. It's just one of those little quirks in reel manufacture. This is not one where Penn made a trade reel like Ocean City did, where you saw Ocean City's reels come up under different names, predominantly Sears and J.C. Higgins and things like that. This is one that's just a pure knockoff, where I don't believe Penn ever received any reimbursement for the design and manufacture or the patents that were issued against that. So I hope you've enjoyed it. If you did, please like it. If you have a question about this reel or any reel in particular, maybe you're working on one and you're stuck and you need a little assist, leave that in the comments. I'll see if I can help you out with that. Thanks to all who have subscribed. I've just gone over 10,000. I appreciate everybody who's subscribed to date. And if you haven't subscribed, I'd ask you to subscribe and hit the notifications button if you enjoy this type of thing, because I post frequently, and with the notification button in place, you won't miss any of the reels that I do. So this is Dennis with Second Chance Tackle. Have a great day.